Hello everybody and welcome to episode 37, for real this time, of This Old Knit. I am your host, Nina, otherwise known as Ine on Ravelry, Instagram, and Pinterest. And you can find show notes for this episode on the thread that I'll start of the This Old Knit group on Ravelry. And thank you so much everybody for joining me. I appreciate you all coming back, if you're coming back, and checking me out for the first time, if you are. I've noticed I'm getting a lot of new viewers, excuse me, because of a couple of mentions on podcasts. So Sarah of the Love Sock Wool podcast has mentioned me, obviously because we're doing a CAL together, the No Makers CAL, and then Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast also mentioned me on her podcast, and that was so sweet, and she had lovely things to say about me. I've really enjoyed kind of chatting back and forth on Instagram with Mina, and her cats are adorable. We can't have cats because my husband is allergic, but I did have cats growing up, so I do like them, and I think they have really funny personalities, so yeah, I'm having cats vicariously through other people. So, if you're just joining me, I was sick last podcast. I still am not 100% better. This cough seems to be really persistent, and I'm worried now that Megwin is actually reinfected because she has really bad allergies. So we're switching her medication to something different, but because she never really kind of got all the stuff out, I think she might be getting another sinus infection. It's something I actually struggled with when I was a child as well, and I got my adenoids out, and that helped for a long time until I was an adult, and then I had sinus surgery it's been 4 years at this point, because it was right after I joined my new group at work, and I've been with my group for almost 4 years now. So, tangent. But anyway, so I have a little bit of a tickle in the back of my throat and a little bit of sinusy stuff going on. So fingers crossed that it doesn't develop into anything more and it just kind of stays as a mild annoyance. Because I don't want to be sick again. I've been sick so much this winter. So, please, I don't want to be sick anymore. I just noticed my iron is... Let me put that down. So upstairs, I, in my craft room, have my ironing board behind all of you where you can't see it. And I come up here during the week to iron my clothes, which is kind of nice because I get out of everybody's way. I used to do it in like the doorway of our bedroom. Terrible idea. Because our master bedroom has the only bathroom that's on the main floor. Our other bathroom is upstairs, where the two other bedrooms are. So basically everybody uses our bathroom all the time, so they're walking in and out of our bedroom all the time. Which is fine, but if you set something up in the doorway, in a high traffic area, it's very frustrating. So I moved it up here, and it has been such a nice change. But obviously I had my iron sitting there from the last time that I ironed my clothes to go to work. So, I have not done a ton of knitting this week, and the reason for that is that I think I've shared before that I work in finance, and the beginning of the month we're always closing the books, the financial books for the company. It's pretty standard for accountants that usually the first week of the month is very busy. I don't do taxes for people. Everybody seems to think that that's what I do. It's not what I do. But since I started my career in all of the companies that I've worked for, and I've worked for several different corporations, first week of the month is always basically, I don't see my family. I see them for a little bit. So my husband was pretty used to that, and I think the kids are getting used to that. But it's always going to be a reality of my career, and that's fine. It's what I signed up for, and I, make a good living, so I'm not, I don't regret that at all. I'm happy that I can provide for my family and get them all the things they need, but things just like go crazy the first week of the month. We just sort of go into survival mode, if you will. We just kind of, meals happen when they happen. Sometimes I don't see the kids awake, but we're through that now. So I don't obviously get to knit a lot during that time frame. I do try to take a little break at lunchtime and knit a couple rows if I can, just to keep my sanity, because it does help ground me and keep me even keeled. And last weekend I did some knitting, and then there was one night where Joshua stayed up really late. I came home, it was probably 10:30 when I got home from work, and the kids were both still awake. And my husband just had a look on his face like, oh my God, I'm gonna just crash out. So I asked him if he was okay, and he said no. And apparently they'd been kind of fighting a little bit back and forth. Joshua's in kind of a hitting and biting and hair pulling phase, so it's unpleasant. So anyway, I kind of took over for him, and he just crashed out on the couch within like 30 minutes of me getting home. And they stayed up for a really, really long time. So Megwin crawled on his lap and kind of fell asleep on his chest. But Joshua would not sleep. So eventually I wrapped him in a blanket, and I just paced back and forth in our bedroom for like an hour until he finally fell asleep. And if I changed positioning in any way, he'd get really upset and at me. He weighs like 20 pounds, which doesn't sound like much until you're kind of in an isometric hold of said 20 pounds. And this 20 pounds is kind of flailing around, and you've got it wrapped in a blanket that makes him slippery. Ugh, it's terrible. My arms hurt so bad. And I think I got to bed at like 1 or 1:30 that day, and I had gone into work at like 8. So I was really tired. But I did stay up and knit my blanket because he would not let me change position. So I kind of sat on the bed and I had him on me. And he wouldn't let me lay down enough so I could go to sleep. And I have trouble falling asleep sitting up. So I just knit on my blanket a whole bunch, which hopefully I have somewhere. Do I have it? Oh, come on. Oh, no. Oh, no. I didn't bring it up here. Okay. Let me pause and I will go get that. Okay, disorganized podcasters of the world, unite! Alright, in my lovely bird leg bags bag from my mother, who's Bethy Lou Who on Ravelry, is where I'm keeping my blanket. And hopefully it'll be able to fit the whole time, because I do have all of the yarn that I still have remaining to knit into that blanket. And the blanket itself in here. So I assume as I'm knitting that stuff into the blanket, should be fine. It's kind of like when ice cubes melt in your glass. It's not going to overflow, because it was all there in volume. Now I'm out of breath because I had to run downstairs. Okay, kids. Speaking of that, I am back to my pre-Megwin weight, which is lovely. My sister told me to eat a cheeseburger over Christmas, and I was like, is that a compliment? Or, what's he saying there? But yeah, I'm wearing all the clothes that I wore before I had my children, which I am super happy about. I feel like I've got a brand new wardrobe and I didn't have to buy anything. I'm glad that I kept a lot of them. I did not keep everything. I only have 3 pairs of dress pants. I have a black, a gray, and a tan, which is sort of annoying. I think I need at least one more so that I can rotate them during the week and I'm not wearing the same pants, because I don't have time to do laundry during the week. So, my blanket. I think I only did one mitered corner. So I think I basically just knit along this strip. But it's getting so long now. I might have done 2. I don't remember. I'd have to look at the previous episode. I feel like I stopped right here in a white section. So, yeah. Probably knit that, and then I knit around to here. So not bad. So again, for those just joining me, this is the 10 Stitch Blanket by Frankie Brown. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. She does collect donations, so if you like her pattern, she asks you to donate to a charity. She has several different variations of the 10 stitch patterns. So I think she has like a 10 stitch zigzag, 10 stitch circular. There's a triangle. They're really easy, but they're really, really cool. And I am not doing anything special on color management. I'm basically just adding the next skein as it comes and just knitting it up. And I don't care where it starts in the ball or anything like that. I'm just going, which I think is really cool because it's giving this weird kind of mosaic effect. And people, when I work on it, when I'm out and about, they're like, how do you get the colors to do that? And I'm like, not me. It's the yarn. The yarn is doing it. The yarn is Cascade Eco Duo. I do have a tag in there. And if you've not watched me since the beginning, I did not buy this yarn at all. It cost $19, in case you wondered. This game. I went to a yarn stash dive for my mom's knitting group right before a wool festival, and this was knit up into various pieces of a sweater, and then it had several skeins that weren't even wound. They all had the tags still on them, and somebody just threw it all in there. So I was like, alpaca, yes, please. So it's I think 50-50 alpaca wool blend. It's so soft. It's super, super soft. So I bought one skein because I thought I wanted to have 10. So there were 9 skeins in there. And I think based on the size blanket I want to have 10 skeins worth. So I paid $19 for this blanket. But it's so much better as a blanket than as a sweater. I think it would be super heavy as a sweater and very, I don't know, almost too drapey because it's so thick. It's a worsted weight yarn. Yeah, I don't think it would make a good sweater. So, but it makes a fabulous blanket. And I'm knitting it on a size 7 needle. I think I followed a tutorial by Pinkalicious. I put a link to it in my project page. So if you're interested in starting one, which I highly recommend you do, it's a really, really cool pattern. You can go to my project page and click on that link, and she has a really good step-by-step video to get you started, because in the very beginning you're in the middle and you're working your way out, so you have to do like 3 mitered corners in a row, and she just walks you through that beginning part before you're kind of going, and once you get the hang of going, it's very easy. So that's that. Excuse me. The second thing I knit on, which I actually stopped knitting on this because it was hurting my hands, is I knit a little bit more on my husband's gloves. And I realized last time when I showed it that you can't see it at all, and I did not hold it close enough to the camera. So sorry about that. So let me hold it a little bit closer and we'll see if the camera decides to focus. I don't think my camera autofocuses, but it is in black, or a very, very dark charcoal gray yarn. The yarn is Knitting Notions, and the colorway is Ironstone. And it is the Char pattern by Andrea Rangel. So, let me hold up this one. Maybe that'll be a little bit better of a view. So it is a braided rib cuff and an Eye of Partridge body of the glove, and then I think the fingers are plain. So I'm just knitting my way up the second cuff, and like I said last time, I'm gonna actually take it off the needles when the pattern suggests, let my husband try it on and see what he thinks of it. But this braided rib is killing my hands. I can't do it continental. I was doing it continental, and I don't know, something about it is the hand motion is messing with me. I have de Quervain's tendonitis in this area of my hand, so there are certain motions that I can't do without discomfort. So when my hand starts to feel like that, I just stop and I do something else. So I started just knitting with my right hand because I started out as a thrower. So I still can do that and be reasonably fast. So I am knitting this with my right hand because I do not want to get any more cortisone injections in my left wrist. I've been 3 years without an injection and pain-free, so I'm just not doing it. Not messing with that. So, excuse me. This is in a project bag, but it's inside of also a shopping bag because there's a combination of Helios in here. I actually grabbed this to go to the store because we went to the grocery earlier today, and I always take my knitting with me because it was starting to snow this morning. Yay! So I took a little video of Joshua when he realized there was snow outside. He was so excited. He ran over to the window, and I opened up the blinds, and he was like, ee, ee. So this is really the first snow that there's been since he's kind of been aware of stuff. So last year, obviously it did snow, but he was only 6 months old, and he still crawled. He didn't walk yet. So I don't know that he was really aware of what was going on, but he definitely was super excited about it today. And my husband and Megwin went and had a little adventure in the backyard. They went out to our creek that's on the back of our property to check and see if any parts of it were frozen, because it gets pretty low at this point, and there's pieces where it's like a rock bed. And in the summertime, like a bunch of reeds grow there, and there's tons of dragonflies, like hundreds of dragonflies, and they're really beautiful, different colors. It's very pretty. But in the wintertime, that's usually the part that will kind of ice over in pieces. So they like to go and look at that and kind of throw rocks against the ice and stuff. So they went to go and do that. And then they played like sorting rocks or something up here. I'm looking on the floor because there's a bunch of different colors of rocks in like small organized piles. So I don't know what they were doing because I had Joshua asleep on me downstairs, so they came up here and played together. Anyway, whip. So this is my blueberry waffle sock. I'm doing it on my normal 64 stitch sock that I usually work, 20 rounds of ribbing at the top, then the blueberry waffle stitch pattern. I do 18 slip stitches, so I guess 36 rows. Good grief, my brain. Yeah, 36 rows on my heel, then heel turn obviously, and a normal toe, a little pointy, but my toes are kind of pointy, so it works well for me. So that's one, and Sally Jane is not quite in half. I know she pink hair girl knits. She always likes her socks to be exactly in half, and usually I do too. But this one for some reason was a little bit short, and I actually am not happy that the cuff is short, but whatever, it's fine. They're still good socks. So I am done with the leg on the second one. I turned the heel while I was waiting to be able to podcast, and I've picked up the stitches, and now I'm knitting around for the gusset. So these should hopefully be done by next week. I should have a little more knitting time this week. But I am working on a special project at work, so I could be really busy again this week and next week. I'm really hoping I'm not, but we'll see. So anyway, I am knitting on one Carbons and one Addi Sock Rocket. And that segues, oh sorry. Yarn, Nina, yarn. This is the Gnome Acres Sparkle Sock, the Under the Tree colorway, and yeah, I really love it. So it's part of our Gnome Acres cow. I'm knitting along with all of you. I'm pretty much only knitting on Gnome Acres yarn stuff other than my blanket. But I didn't get to work on my shawl because I've misplaced the pattern printout that I did. I'm hoping it's up here somewhere. And I'm going to look for it after I'm done recording. So, I'm sorry, I probably keep kicking this table. It's a little bit closer to me than it normally is. Put that guy in there. Okay. So, it is my birthday next week. And it is also my anniversary, so we will have been married for 9 years, and I will be 38, so that's exciting. And to celebrate, I ordered some more Gnome Acres yarn. I ordered some Lovey Dovey in the Fancy Gnome because I've never tried that base before. It's her MCN base. I ordered a skein of the Scruffy Gnome DK, which I also haven't tried that weight, in mint chocolate chip. And I'm actually planning to knit some thrummed mittens out of that and I have a brown natural colored BFL that I think would be really pretty for the thrums. And then it'll look like little speckles of mint chocolate chip. Or of chocolate chips. What else did I order? Oh, a skein of worsted in the Bad Bunny colorway, so Squishy Gnome. Sorry, Amanda. I think it's Squishy Gnome. And that one I'm going to make a daddy bonbon for Megwin. I have the Little Beanie Foo in the worsted weight, and now I have the Bad Bunny in the worsted weight, so that'll be the mommy and the daddy. And I ordered a small, she has like little skeins of undyed that's called Bunny Butt, and it's enough to make the tail for the Bon Bon Bunny. So I bought one when I had bought the Little Bunny Foo last year, and then I bought one for the Bad Bunny. And I got 2 skeins of the DK Scruffy Gnome and Blackberries for my mom, but I just added it onto my order for her. She's going to pay me back for it. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. I thought about ordering more, but really I need to knit through some of my Gnome Acres, and I'm trying to do that right now. So I have a lot of Gnome Acres projects on the needles, and I also want to cast on a Flax Light for Joshua in the Gnomesome Dove colorway, because I bought enough to make that cowl for my husband and then to make a sweater for Joshua. So that will probably be the next thing on my needles when I finish those socks. And then that same evening there was a Wollonvine update, which of course I made the mistake of going and looking at because I was like, it's my birthday soon and I'm gonna treat myself, as Kristen is so fond of saying. So I ordered a skein of Moondrop, in the Volca base, and then I ordered a mystery skein. So I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm excited to find out. I was trying to get Outlander, and of course it sold out like in no time flat. And then I was trying to get Enjoy the Silence, and again that sold out very quickly. And then I went to look at Mexican Hot Chocolate, again sold out very quickly, which is fine. She has Mexican Hot Chocolate all the time, so I'm not worried. That one I'll get it when I get it. But yeah, the mystery skein is exciting. I don't know what it's gonna be, so yay. So those are all coming to me, so I will of course share them with everybody when they come. But then that wasn't enough, of course. I've been wanting to get some more Addi Sock Rockets because I got a pair of the Carbons in the 2.5 millimeter, and they're fine, but they're not my favorite needles. They're really not. I don't knit as quickly on them, and the 4s that I got are terrible. I'm going to see if I can, I ordered them through Simply Socks Yarn Company, so I'm going to see if I can call them and if they can return them to Knitter's Pride through the manufacturer, because I looked on Knitter's Pride website and they said you have to return them through the retailer that you bought them with, but that they guarantee against manufacturing defects. So these have such terrible joins that they're actually shredding my yarn when I pass it over the join. So this is not what they're supposed to be like. They're unusable. So I took those off. I was knitting a Hexie Puff with them, and I took them off. And I have them set aside, and I'm going to see what I can do with returning them and getting replacements. And hopefully they're just that I just got a bad needle. That's really what I'm hoping. But yeah, so I cast on this yarn. I don't know what this yarn is. It's from a mini skein swap that I did with Lena from the A Wee Bit Knitty podcast. And she's podcasting again. She has a new camera, so check her out if you have not. And it's kind of a pinky purple color. So I've knit one Hexie Puff out of this already. And yeah, I'm halfway through with this one. So I'm just using one of my Addi clicks and then a really old Addi with like when they still had the metallic cable. And it's fine. But this cable's a little bit longer than I like to use when I'm knitting Hexie Puffs. I didn't have a 24-inch free, so this is a 32. It's kind of long to be pulling through like so few stitches. But it'll work for now. So I'm going to go and buy more Addis, more Addi Sock Rockets in the size 4. So I'll have those for my blanket. I don't think I finished any Hexie Puffs this week. I'm pretty sure I didn't. So at my local yarn store, I bought a pair of size 2.5 millimeter needles in the Addi Sock Rocket. Unfortunately, one of the tips had like a little chunk out of it, but that's fine. I will take it back. I know that my local yarn store owner, she's like, totally bring them back, and she can send them to Skasel, and she'll just give me a new one. So I have that ready to go. Otherwise, my socks would have been on 2 Addis. But now it's on one for right now. And then in the car, I thought, well, I better check the other set I got, which is a 2.25 millimeter needle. It was a size I didn't really have any of in my needle stash. So I got a pair of those. And then I cast on for another sock. And I thought, I just wanted to check the tips, because if I was going to take the other ones back, it's kind of on the other side of town for me, the local yarn store. Because it's near my work, not my house. Ones that were over here closed on this side of town. And these are fine. Nothing wrong with them. So I think it's just a one-off that I had a bad one. But I got some My First Regia. Because if you remember, I was talking about some white contrasting heels and toes and cuff yarn with my Knit Picks Tea Party. So I saw this when I was in the yarn store, and I was like, that's perfect. That's just the amount that I need. So it is, My First Regia, and it's just an off-white color. So it's not a very big ball, but it's perfect for what I need it for. So I cast on 64 stitches for that, and I'm just going to do plain vanilla socks for those, I think. I'm trying to decide if I want to do plain vanilla or the vanilla bean sock pattern, which is really just slip one, knit one around when you get to the new stripe color. I did notice that on my Tea Party, this one strand is kind of, it's got one ply that's all ripped up, so I might cut that piece out. I probably will cut that piece out because I would hate for it to fail there on my sock when I knit them. So I will do this, the Knit Picks Felici Tea Party, with this for contrasting cuffs, heels, and toes. And I think that's going to be really pretty and girly and fun. And then, because I was in my first Regia section, I saw this color, which is really pretty. A couple people mentioned that they have this color in their stash as well. So it is colorway 01814, and it's kind of peach with cream, purple, and pink. And I was going to do a pair of socks for Megwin with this, because I think if I do, you know, one sock each, and then again I do contrasting heels and toes in this color, that should be plenty to knit socks for her, like little shorty socks. And her socks that I knit her out of the Felici, they're actually a little bit too big. So I think I'll knit these smaller. I went up to 60 stitches, and I think that was probably a little bit aggressive. So I probably should have done 56 stitches, or maybe even 52. So she had a pair of socks that were 52 stitches around, and they were kind of tight for her to get over her heel. Now they were from last year, but I forgot that they have a colorwork band on them, so it could well be that if that colorwork band wasn't there, she would be able to get them over her feet just fine. So yeah, I might just cast on 52 and then see how that goes. So that is everything that I bought. Just the needles and the baby Regia, my first Regia. But the needles are pricey, so. And then I got the most lovely package in the mail. If you will all recall that I mentioned Coddington had agreed to graciously donate a project bag for all of you for the No Makers Cal. So she sent that to me. She actually sent me 2 bags, so one for me and one for the prize. And I can't decide which one I want to be for me. So here's the 2 sizes, and they're beautiful. They're really beautifully well made. They have a handle. They're zipper bags, and they're quilted, so they're very sturdy, beefy. So the one with the blue zip, inside is exactly the same as the outside. It has this brown fabric and then the pink fabric on the bottom. And this one is roomy enough that you could put a sweater project in it, for sure. And then this one, which is the one that's giving me pause because of the yellow zipper, because I love yellow. It's my favorite color. Has this really pretty blue inside. It kind of looks like muslin. And they're boxed on the bottom, so they will stand up. And this, I bet I could get a sweater in there as well. It's definitely a generously sized bag also, and sweaters aren't as big as you think they are. If you're not carrying around all of the yarn that you need for it, they're not as huge as you think. So she sent me those 2 bags. Thank you, Autumn. And then she sent me this whole bag of mini skeins, because she said she's not doing any kind of mini skein project, so when she's finished with socks or other projects, she doesn't have anything to do with her scraps. And I said, well, Hexie Puffs do not take very much. They only take about 4 grams, so I can use a very, very small amount of scraps. And I said, actually, for the ties of the blanket, I can use even smaller amounts than that. So like this that I have saved from my Peppermint Mocha socks, which is just the stuff that Amanda used to tie the skeins together. I actually keep this kind of stuff because I can even reuse this to tie my puffs together. And then if things get so tiny that I can't use them, we collect them and we put them out in this little like wicker ball that we have, and like birds and squirrels and stuff come and take them, and we'll find like nests in the yard with bits of sock yarn or you know, like wool or stuff, like pieces of roving and stuff like that in them. So it's really fun. So it definitely will get used one way or another. So she sent me this one, which is like really pretty lavenders and pinks. This one, which is Marigold Jen, and I've never tried her yarn before. This one, which is Black Trillium, again, a yarn I've never tried before. This one, which I really like. This is Socks That Rock medium weight. This one, Misty Alpaca, which is always a fun sock yarn to use. That was from the first socks she ever knit for herself. And then this one is Spud and Chloe, which I have several Spud and Chloe yarns. I have like a whole rainbow of them because I was going to use them for a pattern called Rainbow Wanderer. I haven't made it yet, but I will do it. I will do it. So many things to do, so little time. So those were all the minis that she sent me. And then she also sent me some stitch markers. Whoops. So just little round green with a little white bead on them stitch markers. So I use this kind all the time for socks and for shawls. So those are great and very, very appreciated. So thank you so much, Autumn. I really appreciate your generosity, and it was very, very sweet of you to send all that stuff to me. And I will decide which bag I'm going to put up for the giveaway, and I'll probably edit the first post, maybe put it in the header with what the prizes will be. So just to recap for the No Makers Cal, we are, for the months of January and February, knitting with No Makers yarn. Can be anything that you want it to be. It could be a whip that you already had existing. It doesn't have to be a newly cast on project. This time I have a chatter thread. So I had a chatter thread that's called the Don't Hoard the Pretties Cal, and that one is more just a general discussion about overall between the No Makers Volenvine and planning for if we want to do any more cals, which I have a couple of ideas cooking for that. So just chatter there if you're kind of just general chatter. And then I have a specific No Makers Cal chatter thread, and that is the one that I will draw the one prize from. That's for anybody that's chattering and participating in the cal. So even if you're not knitting with No Makers yarn, if you don't have any, which I understand some people cannot get it, it's either not affordable or what have you, you can still chatter and you still have a chance to win a prize. And then I have a finished objects thread, which is a little bit different than some of the cals that I run. And in that thread you would post your finished knitted objects in No Makers yarn. I'm going to count your blankets. If anybody's doing a scrap yarn blanket or other scrappy project that you want to include mini skeins in, so if you have some No Makers mini skeins but you don't have other No Makers yarn, you can still enter that. Just enter it one time. So if you like knit one row of squares that's all No Makers or whatever, or however many that you have, just take a picture of those and post that in your finished object thread, and that will count as an entry. And My husband's singing with the kids. Yeah, just enter at one time. Don't enter like every single Hexie Puff, for example. And then I got a really, really great email from Amanda of No Makers, the dyer behind No Makers, and she has generously offered to donate a $25 gift certificate to the No Makers store as one of our prizes. So thank you, Amanda. I'm so, so excited. And she's also doing the same for the Love Sock Wool group. So it's so generous of her. I know that these dyers are definitely one-person shows, and that is revenue out the door for them. So I really, really appreciate the generosity of her donating that certificate to us. So somebody has a chance to win a $25 gift certificate for No Makers. And before I forget, also I put a thread in the group for our 400 member giveaway. So I think we're at 440 something ish members at this point. It kind of goes up and down. Like, I think people subscribe and then they go, what's with this chicky poo? And then they unsubscribe. But we're netting still. We're still netting members. So anyway, I wanted to thank all of you for supporting me, for being there with me. And so I am giving away a skein of No Makers yarn. So all you need to do is go into the members thread, that thread for the giveaway, and I'm trying to figure out how many subscribers I have. Let's look. 448. That was pretty close. So just post in the thread that I have for the 400 subscriber giveaway. I think the prompt I asked is what weight of yarn do you knit with the most? And I think what I'll do is whomever I pick from that list, I will purchase the weight of yarn that you prefer to knit with. So I'm not going to purchase the skein yet. I want to wait and see who wins, and then I will purchase the skein. So it will probably just be some of her basic bases because I can't, yeah. I'm opening it up to everybody, so I don't want to buy like the most expensive skeins and then on top of it pay international shipping, because sometimes that's another like $20 for me. So could be up to like $50 for the prize, which is fine. I love all of you, so it's fine. But it will probably either be House Gnome if you like fingering weight. It would be Squishy Gnome if you like worsted weight, or I think it's Jazzy Gnome is the DK, or it could be Jazzy or Scruffy. I think those are the same price. So I will touch base with whomever I draw the name for, and we can coordinate for what skein that you want, and it would be one that's in stock for Amanda's shop, and I will try to get it out to you as quickly as I can, so that way you'll be able to knit with it during the Cal, hopefully. So yeah, that will be cool. And Jazzy Java, sorry I've not got your skeins of yarn out to you. I had them in my car all last week, but obviously I was working until like, 8, 9 o'clock at night, so the post office is closed at that point. I have a couple of international packages that I need to send as well, so I will get it out to you this week. I haven't forgotten about you. I didn't want you to think that I had, but yeah, if you've been watching, we've had a lot of sickness since I drew for my last prize giveaway. It was for the Double Dip Cal. Everybody who I gifted patterns to has already been sorted. It's just the physical yarn prize that I have to deal with. So it's all packaged up. It's ready to go. I'll get it to you, I promise. Don't worry about it. So I think that's everything. Yeah. I was going to talk about a TED Talk that I had watched, because I've been watching some TED Talks, and one was really interesting to me. It was about introverts and the power of introverts, and that we kind of, as a society, tend to not function in a way that's conducive to how introverted people tend to work. So it was really interesting, and it made me think of the podcasting community, because I think we have a lot of people who are more on the introverted side, and obviously we're all a mixture. We're not completely introvert or completely extroverted. If somebody was like that, they'd be crazy. But I think that the people who are more introverted tend to be the ones that are also the most popular. I mean, they're people that everybody enjoys. They enjoy their style. They enjoy the kind of the thoughtful, intentional style of those people. Danny of Little Bobbins comes to mind, or Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes. And I think it's so great that we, as a community, are so deviant from the norm of society, and that we not only celebrate those people, but we also understand that they have a lot to contribute, and we appreciate it and love it. So I would say that I'm kind of a mix on the introvert extrovert scale. As I said, I love public speaking. I love teaching people. At work, I'm very gregarious. I love meeting new people. On StrengthsFinders, if anybody's heard of StrengthsFinders, I am input, learner, maximizer, intellection, and arranger. And then I woo, which is winning others over. So it means like I love to meet new people, and I like the challenge of connecting with people. But by the same token, I also, to recharge, I need alone time. I need quiet time. I need thoughtful time. I can't, if I'm in like a go type mode and I'm around people a lot, I get drained. So I need the stepping back. And this woman, and I can't remember her name, talks about the going to the wilderness moments. So I need going to the yarn wilderness, if you will, looking over at my stash moments, where I come up to my craft room and just kind of sit for a little while, and it's quiet and I don't have music or anything else on, and I just kind of think and do and craft and create. And to me, that's very cathartic. And or I enjoy mixing with a small group of people, so just kind of being with my family or chatting with my husband for a little while, that's very recharging to me. So yeah, it's a really interesting TED Talk. I will put a link to it in the show notes. And if you haven't checked it out yet, there's one that I put in the episode that I called In Which I Get Contemplative. That's called Embrace the Shake. It is a really amazing and inspiring TED Talk. So if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it, because you won't regret it. It's really, really great. So if you like that, I will share some of those with you from time to time as I come across them. We're kind of watching them a little bit at work, and I listen to, I think NPR on Sundays does the TED Radio Hour. So if there's one that I hear that kind of sounds interesting, I'll go and watch the whole thing. So yeah, I think that's all I have for this week. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. All right, bye-bye.